9 Spine-chilling tales of sinister best friends. What I discovered about her haunted secret the first time Jenna heard the whispers, she was sure they were just the wind. Late on a Saturday night, after a grueling 12-hour shift at the hospital, she sat exhausted on her porch, a steaming cup of coffee in hand. The darkness enveloped her like a heavy shroud, twisting familiar shapes into grotesque shadows. But then she heard it again, an unmistakable voice slipping through the cracks of her sanity, calling her name. Jenna. It slithered in the air, chilling her to the bone. Her heart raced. Was it just fatigue playing tricks on her? Or something darker lurking behind the palm trees outside? A few days later, the peculiarities escalated. It started with Lily, her vibrant little girl who now clutched her stuffed bunny at night as if it were a lifeline. "Mommy, my friend Claire says she'll keep me safe," Lily whispered with wide, innocent eyes. Jenna brushed it off as imagination. After all, children saw magic everywhere, right? But the sweet smile that graced Claire's face every time they crossed paths sent a shiver down Jenna's spine. It felt too welcoming, too practiced. As Claire's presence loomed larger in her life, her self-assured laughter felt like an echo in a cavern, a hollow sound that made Jenna uncomfortable. Coffee dates had turned into whispers, weaving through Jenna's life like the creeping shadows stalking the edges of her own home. Sometimes, when Jenna caught sight of Claire's face out of the corner of her eye, it morphed, revealing something sinister, something lurking behind her blinding smile. Before we continue, I need to tell you something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to their system and many people are missing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and select all notifications so you don't miss future videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As the weeks trickled by, reality twisted and warped like glass, shattering into endless shards. Shadows moved across her living room as if they were alive, and the sweet aroma of freshly brewed coffee turned bitter. Lily's screams grew more frequent, raking at Jenna's heart with razor-sharp claws. "Mommy, Claire said I need to listen to her. She loves me." But Jenna's protective instincts flared. Who was this Claire? What did she want? The chase for answers left her breathless. The neighborhood, once picturesque, felt like a gaping maw, hungry for betrayal and vengeance. Late at night, when she should have been sleeping, Jenna uncovered stories of terrible friendships gone wrong, trust turned to dust, and lines of reality blurred until family turned against family. With newfound resolve, Jenna confronted Claire, shaking but furious. Was it fear gripping her throat or anger coursing through her veins? But Claire stood there, calm as ever, a serene mask hiding the chaos beneath. One last, terrifying question lingered on her lips. Would the sweet facade of friendship turn out to be a web spun of malice, ready to ensnare its prey? And just as Jenna thought she had unveiled the truth, Claire's smile deepened, leaving Jenna teetering on the edge of dread, gasping for the safety that slipped through her fingers like smoke. What secret lay buried, waiting to crush them both? Jenna stumbled back, her breath hitching as Claire's smile split wider, almost inhuman. Every instinct in her screamed to run. The shadows behind Claire flickered, alive with a life of their own, wrapping around her ankles like creeping vines. "You shouldn't have come here," Claire said, her voice smooth and silky, yet laced with a venomous edge that sent chills racing down Jenna's spine. "What do you want from my daughter?" Jenna's voice trembled, barely a whisper, but strong enough to betray the fear pooling in the pit of her stomach. "Lily is special," Claire purred, tilting her head like a predator sizing up her prey. "She sees things, knows things. I'm just here to help her find her power." The words dripped with an unsettling sweetness, but Jenna felt the ice stab her heart. "I wouldn't let you near her," Jenna shot back, the steel in her voice weakening as Claire advanced. Lily's laughter echoed from the hallway, high-pitched and eerie, as if it belonged to someone else. "Mommy, Claire says I can do magic. Can't you hear it?" The light in the living room flickered dangerously, and a heavy silence fell like a thick fog. Jenna squinted, her heart slamming against her ribcage. What had she walked into? This was no ordinary playdate. It was a dark carnival ride spiraling out of control. Suddenly, everything shifted. The walls of the house stretched, warping as if they were breathing. Claire's serene expression twisted for a moment, revealing the flicker of something ancient, something wicked lurking in her eyes. "You don't understand, do you?" Claire hissed, stepping closer until Jenna could smell the damp earth clinging to her. "Children are gateways and she has been chosen." "No!" Jenna cried, lunging to snatch Lily's arm, but it felt like grasping smoke. Her daughter was rooted in place, eyes glazed and unblinking, fixated on Claire. "Mommy, I want to play," Lily said, her voice distant and echoing, almost as if it belonged to a stranger. "Lily, listen to me. You have to come here." Panic surged within Jenna, each second feeling like a lifetime, every sound amplifying the terror tightening around her throat. But it was no use. The air grew thick, oppressive, heavy with an otherworldly energy. Claire raised her fingers, delicately weaving them through the air as if conducting an unseen orchestra. Jenna felt the ground beneath her give way, splitting into a void that threatened to swallow everything in darkness. Desperation clawed at her, forcing her to focus, forcing her to fight against the pull of Claire's insidious charm. "You'll never take her." Claire's laughter filled the room, a cacophony that reverberated off the walls like shards of glass scattering across the floor. "Oh, you misunderstand," she whispered, her tone dropping to a conspiratorial murmur. "She's already mine." Then, without warning, the lights cut out, plunging them into an abyss. Jenna's heartbeat thundered in her ears, disorienting her in the pitch-black void. Somewhere in the darkness, she could hear Lily's terrified voice blend with haunting echoes, spiraling into a cacophony that pulled at Jenna's sanity. "Mommy, help! She's not my friend." Panic surged as Jenna strained to find her daughter amidst the chaos. Suddenly, a raspy giggle escaped the dark. "They're coming for you, Jenna. Not all friendships are meant to last." The words slithered through her mind, leaving a lingering stain of dread. Light flickered back to life, and Jenna found herself alone. The living room was still, yet shadows danced along the walls. Where was Lily? The question ricocheted through her mind, and the emptiness felt monstrous. As Jenna rushed towards the hallway, her heart pounding, she knew one thing for sure: the terror was just beginning. But what was Claire's true plan? What dark magic lay beneath those innocent eyes? Jenna stood frozen in the darkened living room, her heart racing in a wild rhythm. Her mind raced faster than her feet, and each breath felt wrong, like inhaling ash. Shadows danced ominously along the walls, and she was suddenly acutely aware of every creak in the old house, every whisper of wind outside. Where was Lily? "Lily!" she screamed, panic spilling out of her. The sound echoed, swallowed by the oppressive silence surrounding her. She strained to hear any sound that might lead her to her daughter. Nothing. The hallway stretched before her like a dark tunnel, the air thickening with dread. Jenna plunged forward, each step heavy, as if she were wading through water. The flickering lights above cast long, anxious shadows that teased her with the possibility of movement just beyond the corner of her vision. "Mommy!" The voice rang out again, but this time it was a muffled call, as if it were coming from deep within the walls. Hope surged through her, but it was quickly snuffed out by the gnawing fear that wrapped around her heart. "Where are you, Lily?" The moment she reached the hallway, the air turned cold, a chill that seemed to wrap around her like icy fingers. Jenna felt it crawling against her skin, a creeping sensation that whispered of something not right in the darkness. She squeezed her eyes shut for a split second, trying to steel herself. As she opened her eyes, a sense of urgency took over, and she rushed towards the last door on the left. It was slightly ajar, swinging gently as if beckoning her closer. She pushed it open, and the hinges creaked in protest. Inside, the room was dimly lit, the curtains drawn tight, the shadows pooling around the corners like liquid blackness. "Lily!" The name escaped her lips in a hoarse whisper. And then she saw it, a shape, small and crumpled, huddled in the corner. Jenna rushed forward but recoiled as the light flickered again, illuminating a figure in stark contrast. It was Claire, standing with her back to Jenna, like a sentry guarding something precious. Jenna felt her stomach churn. "Get away from her!" Jenna yelled, moving instinctively to pull her daughter away, but once again, it was like reaching for smoke. Lily sat as if in a trance, eyes glassy, staring at Claire with an adoration twisting into something menacing. "Mommy," Lily said, her tone flat, devoid of the life Jenna knew. "We're playing a game." "A game?" The word tasted sour on Jenna's tongue. Claire glanced back, and for a fleeting moment, Jenna glimpsed trails of darkness slithering behind her, almost alive, writhing with anticipation. "Games are so much fun, aren't they, Lily?" Claire cooed, her voice dripping with honeyed malice. "We're just getting started." Jenna felt her breath hitch. With each breath, dread clawed at her veins. "You're hurting her, Claire." "Stop it!" "Do you see it now?" Claire asked, her voice a soft, teasing whisper. "She doesn't want to leave." "Isn't that right, Lily?" "Yeah, Mommy. I'm having fun." Lily's words rang out with a happiness that chilled Jenna to the bone, shaking her very core. Scrambling backward, Jenna's heart thundered as she tried to comprehend the scene unfolding before her. How could this be? "Lily, you have to listen to me. You need to come back." But it was too late. The shadows began crawling toward her, curling around her feet and creeping up her legs. They felt cold, alive with a sinister energy, dragging her down, pulling her into the depths of despair. Claire spun around, a wicked grin stretching across her face, and whispered, "There's no escape, Jenna. The game has only just begun." With that, the lights went out again, plunging Jenna into darkness. The screams of her daughter echoed in her ears, the air heavy with despair. What was this game? How far would Claire go to transform Lily? Panic surging, Jenna clenched her fists, struggling against the encroaching shadow. In that darkness, with her daughter's voice becoming a chilling refrain, the truth loomed. Jenna's fight wasn't just to save Lily but to save her soul from being devoured by something far more sinister than she could ever have imagined. What black depths did Claire inhabit, and how much power would she wield before it was too late? Jenna's heart raced as she stumbled further into the engulfing blackness, shadows closing in like a suffocating shroud. She could hear Lily's voice, a piercing mixture of laughter and dread, echoing in her mind. "Mommy, where are you?" It wasn't the carefree call of her daughter. It was layered with something sinister, something that sent ice through Jenna's veins. She stretched out her hands in front of her, breath hitching as she felt the cold walls brushing against her palms, guiding her if only she knew where to go. "Lily!" she cried again, desperation clawing up her throat. "Lily, I'm here! I'm coming!" The darkness felt alive, pressing against her, a living entity thickening around her breaths. Then she heard it, a sickening whisper that crept up from the shadows, wrapping around her with a chilling caress. "Jenna, join us." Fighting back rising panic, Jenna blinked furiously, willing her eyes to adjust. A sliver of pale light flickered, casting fleeting shapes on the walls that made her stomach churn. She caught a glimpse of those shadows, thousands of them, swirling and darting, filled with hunger. Hungry for what? Her daughter? Her soul? The thought paralyzed her. "Claire! You've done something to her!" Jenna shouted, her voice echoing louder through the tight space. She could feel the thud of her heart, the pulse of fear drumming in her ears, drowning out everything else. "Isn't Claire the best?" Lily's voice chimed back, playful and sinister. "She knows all the fun games. Don't you want to play too?" Light flickered overhead again, and Jenna caught sight of Claire's figure, expert at conjuring darkness like an artist wielding a brush. Her eyes glinted with a madness that Jenna had never seen. Fear gripped her chest, but she wouldn't yield. "Let her go, Claire! You can't keep her!" "Keep her?" Claire cooed, the words twisting like a snake. "Oh, Jenna! Your little girl is happier here than you could ever make her. Some treasures are worth keeping, and she's one of them." "Are you crazy?" Jenna's pulse hammered behind her eyes. "She's not a treasure. She asked. My daughter. With a deafening roar, the shadows responded, thrumming around her, reaching and clawing, demanding her surrender. Jenna stumbled, fighting off the darkness wrapping around her ankles like vines. A chill shot through her, paralyzing one of her legs, forcing her to the ground. She blinked away tears. She couldn't let fear take her. Mustering every ounce of strength, she crawled toward the last whisper of light, toward her daughter. As she neared, the shadows recoiled, hissing like smoke retreating from flame. But they wouldn't let her go so easily. Mommy! Lily's voice was louder now, insistent, threading through the chaos and grasping at Jenna's heart like a lifeline. I don't want to go. Please, Mom! No! Jenna shouted, bursting through the wall of shadows, her body surging forward. She could see Lily now, a silhouette against the dim light. I'm coming! But Claire's laughter chilled her to the bone. You can't take her back, Jenna. Not now. She's mine. Desperation fueled Jenna as the walls closed in, threatening to swallow her whole. She felt her mind racing, scrambling for a way to break Claire's grip on Lily. There had to be something. An old story, a weakness, a way to undo whatever curse this was. In that moment of renewed determination, Jenna noticed something flickering in the murky distance, something that didn't belong to the darkness. An old family portrait hung crooked on the wall, faintly illuminated by the dying light. Before she could ponder why it mattered, it flickered and faded, but not before Jenna felt a pull toward it. Let go! She screamed at the darkness, pushing against the suffocating weight pressing down on her. The air felt electric, charged with potential. I will save her! But as the shadows screamed and lunged, she realized it was no longer a question of just saving Lily. It was about uncovering the truth behind Claire, a truth buried in the depths of their past, entwined with unforgiving darkness. Yet, just before she could reach the portrait, the room swirled with malevolent laughter, and everything went black again. Do you wish to play the game, Jenna? Claire's voice was faint, echoing through the void as if from a great distance, slithering through to the corners of Jenna's mind. Find the truth before it consumes you both. Panic rose anew, frantic and raw. Clutching the fragments of her sanity, Jenna's resolve hardened. She needed to confront Claire's truth. But what awaited her in those shadows that danced with memories she wished to forget? She had no idea. The darkness swallowed Jenna whole, each heartbeat echoing in the silence. She couldn't tell if she was standing or lying down. The ground seemed to shift beneath her. Panic grasped her throat, squeezing tighter with every shuddering breath. She blinked, desperately focusing on the void around her, willing it to manifest something, anything. And then, a shimmer returned, the portrait flickering back into view, its edges glowing faintly. As Jenna stumbled toward it, she felt a whisper of warmth, a tether to her humanity. Her hands trembled as they outstretched, fingertips brushing against the cool frame. A chill coursed through her body, and for a moment she was drawn into the image, her mind spiraling backward down the chasms of time. The scene depicted an idyllic family. Jenna, a shadow of her former self, smiled in that photograph alongside her husband and baby Lily. They appeared happy, blissfully naive to the darkness that loomed just out of sight. It felt wrong. That brightness felt like a cruel joke in the midst of this hell. Lily! She screamed again, the name tearing from her like a plea to the universe. Mommy? Her daughter's voice echoed softly, drifting like a breeze. It was innocent and tender, untouched by the malevolent forces choking their lives. Jenna felt the tug of hope. Was Lily still there, somewhere hidden under Claire's twisted grasp? Before she could process the flickering image, shadows curled back around her, whispering like a cacophony of lost souls. You will never escape, they hissed, fear coursing through Jenna's blood. But the fear that ignited within her, raw and blistering, ignited an equal fire of defiance. I will save her. I will break your hold. In a fateful flash, vision struck her, a memory of a hidden attic. The family portrait had been taken before Lily was born, and Claire had spent countless hours in that attic, poring over strange books and artifacts. Almost like a ritual of binding. What was it Claire had found? Jenna grappled with the shards of recollection. If she could reach that attic, if those things could hold the remnants of her love for her daughter. But with this realization came a wave of dread, a new whisper lingering closer, more intimate. You think you can unravel me, Jenna? You will find only darkness. You crave a family, a bond, but you are all alone now. Something shifted, the shadows pulling Jenna into their swirling mass. Her breath caught in her throat. How could she find the attic? How could she find Lily? The weight of helplessness pressed down on her, merging with the shadows, threatening to swallow her whole. And as the swirling darkness roared to life around her, Jenna felt a surge of power within. Perhaps within her own pain lay the light she needed to combat Claire's hold. Her heart raced as she concentrated, envisioning the attic, its dusty corners brimming with secrets. But just as her focus solidified, the shadows wriggled violently, as if they sensed her plotting. The air grew heavy with anguish, desperation pulsing like a heartbeat, trembling through the darkness. Do you dare to defy me? Claire's icy voice echoed, a veiled promise of torment. You think you can find that which was never yours to begin with? You'll only discover the truth buried beneath betrayal more twisted than you can fathom. Then silence fell. For a heartbeat or two, all was still. Jenna's spirit surged. She had to push onward. She wouldn't let the darkness win. With unwavering determination, she shouted, "Show me! Show me the truth!" As if in response, the shadows twisted, whirling into an opening, forming a passageway. Jenna could only stare into the gnarled depths. A rush of fear raced down her spine. Was it a way out? Or was it simply a deeper trap? She took a deep breath, ready to step into the unknown. But before she could take a single step, she felt a cold grip around her wrist. Are you ready to face what you've truly buried, Jenna? A sickening twist deep in her gut warned her that what lay ahead could consume her entire being. What secrets waited in twisted corners of that attic? And could she brave the darkness beckoning her forward? With a shuddering leap of faith, she stepped through, heart and throat, and shadows at her heels. The passageway swallowed her, a void so thick it felt alive. Tendrils of darkness pressed in, whispering secrets of dread meant to claw at her resolve. Jenna fought against the encroaching shadows, stepping farther into the gloom. With each step, flashes of memory splintered through the air, remnants of laughter, and the scent of baby powder mixed with dread. A flickering light ahead beckoned, pulsing like a dying star struggling to catch her attention. She stumbled toward it, heart pounding, propelled by the fierce hope of finding Lily. But as she walked, the light revealed a chaotic scene. The attic was cluttered with forgotten relics, old furniture draped in dusty sheets. Books sprawled across the floor, their pages yellowed and filled with sketches of strange symbols and anguished faces. Jenna's pulse quickened as she recognized a few a sigil Claire had obsessed over, occurring in nightmares Jenna had studied while searching for a way to break the curse. Her hands grazed the old wood, and the air crackled with energy, resonating with pain and resolve. Jenna's breath turned shallow, caught a heartbeat like a hammer in her chest. "Lily, where are you?" she called, voice trembling, merging into the shadows that continued to taunt her with whispers of despair. In a raw instant, everything shifted. The light dimmed, and the attic seemed to warp, the walls closing in, pulling her further into anxiety. A chilling laugh echoed, a sound unmistakably Claire's. "Welcome home, Jenna," the voice purred, laced with cruel amusement. "Did you really think you could retrieve what was lost? Get out of my head!" Jenna screamed, though the panic clawed at her throat. Memories of Claire's manipulations filled her thoughts, of whispered lies and twisted tales, each one trying to ensnare her in a web of despair. "I wouldn't let you keep Lily." "Oh, but she isn't lost," Claire's voice slithered through the air. "She is right here, molded into what I desired. But you were always too weak, too broken." Heart pounding, Jenna scanned the attic for any sign of her daughter. As her eyes adjusted, a figure materialized from the shadows, a flicker of hope, a small girl clutching a faded teddy bear. "Lily!" Jenna exclaimed, sinking to her knees, her heart lifting. But the moment faded with agonizing slowness. It was a fleeting shadow, a reflection of what might have been. Her daughter's face morphed, twisting into a haunting echo of Claire's taunts as the vision shattered, replaced by darkness once more. No! What have you done to her? The dread curdled in her stomach, transforming into rage. Jenna stood tall, fists clenched. If she was going to break Claire's hold, she needed to confront the truth buried beneath layers of familial love and betrayal. Do you dare? Claire hissed from the darkness, her silhouette growing and morphing like a beast. Face what you've done. All your failures. Jenna closed her eyes, breathing deeply, willing the tendrils of fear to loosen their grip. You can't take her from me, she whispered fiercely, summoning every ounce of her will. I will fight until I'm free. A rush surged through her, pooling at the base of her fear. Visions of the past swelled inside her, fusing with a determination that felt almost primal. Suddenly, a light exploded from within, illuminating the attic in a blinding white. The shadows screeched in agony, retreating from her brightening heart, but with them came Claire's shriek, sounds of anguish and dread that shook the rafters. Foolish mother! Claire spat through gritted teeth as she darkened. You have awakened forces you cannot control. The light pulsed uncontrollably, revealing a dusty box hidden beneath an old trunk. In its midst lay a portrait, the true family picture, adorned with darkened smiles and hollow eyes. Jenna felt the darkness churn around it, desperate to snuff out the light she was creating. Find it, Jenna whispered to herself. Find a way to reverse it. But before she could reach for the box, the pulsing light flickered dangerously, threatening to snuff out. If she couldn't grasp that truth in time, the resulting darkness would consume her and Lily forever. What dark secrets lurked in that battered box? And could Jenna endure the dreadful confrontation that awaited her within its chilling embrace? Jenna lunged toward the box, heart racing, each step weighed down by the suffocating darkness. The pulsing light flickered, radiating hope but also warning her of the danger ahead. The attic felt alive, thrumming with a pulse that echoed her own, a strange dance of fear and determination. Come on, just a little closer, she urged herself, the words barely a whisper over the dread trying to pull her backward. The old trunk seemed to grumble, the wood creaking under the weight of memories encapsulated within. She was certain it was about to collapse, to bury her in despair, just like Claire had tried to do. The closer she got, the more the shadows clutched at her ankles, clawing at her resolve. They lingered like a bedroom after a nightmare, filled with unshakable doubt. But the idea of Lily drove her, a tether amid the chaos. If she could just reach it. A sudden rush of cold air surged past her, chilling her to the bone. The attic creaked ominously, as if the very structure resented her presence. And there it was again, Claire's mocking laughter, swirling around her like a taunting ghost. You think knowledge will save you, Jenna? You're only digging your own grave. Shut up! She yelled, breath ragged. You don't have any power over me now. The light flickered again, revealing glimmers of the past buried among the rubble. Jenna's vision blurred with forgotten memories, a chaotic family dinner, Claire smiling widely while shadows danced in the corners, how they masked the anguish simmering beneath. It crept in like a poisonous fog, an echo of desperation that threatened to drown out her resolve. Jenna reached the box, heart hammering like a drum. She hesitated for just a second, terrified of what might lay inside. But the image of Lily, her little girl's laughter, a sound that could cut through the blackest night, brought her back. Digging her fingers into the rough edges of the box, she wrestled with the lid. A powerful force pushed back, like a magnetic pulse of darkness surging from the box, angry and fierce. The shadows roared, rushing forward as if they could sense her breach of sacred ground. Leave it be! Claire shrieked, the walls quaking with rage. You're not strong enough. Ignoring the darkness that clawed at her mind, Jenna lifted the lid. The light exploded forth, consuming her surroundings, casting grotesque shadows on the walls. Inside lay the portrait, a grotesque family photograph of smiling faces, warped, eyes sunken, smirking as if they shared a dreadful secret. But there was more. A small, leather-bound diary nestled beside it, its cover smooth and inviting yet treacherous. Jenna opened the diary, pages crumbling beneath her fingers, revealing snippets of her family's darkest secrets. The entries were soaked in despair. Memories of Claire's jealousy and rage spilled forth, revealing her twisted fascination with power, the same power that had entrapped them all. Why, Jenna? Claire shimmered from the shadows, her form half seen amidst the blinding light. Why do you insist on rewriting history? Because it's time for the truth. You can't control me forever. Jenna screamed back, feeling the heat of her anger ignite a fire within. But the words hung heavy in the air, and silence cloaked the attic like a shroud. In that moment of stillness, something shifted in the shadows, an expectant tension that left her breathless, as if they were waiting to pounce, to consume. Suddenly, the light around her began to fade. Panic surged in her like a tidal wave, drowning her hopes. The room shrieked with the voices of the tortured, combative, screaming at her as they pulled her deeper into their torment. Finish it or be lost forever! Claire screamed, her presence growing monstrous. You know what you have to do! Jenna felt her heart pound against her ribcage. She couldn't be consumed. Not now. Not after all she had fought for. The pages whispered secrets, and Jenna's resolve hardened to steel. One last push. One final stand. Could she harness the darkness to fight for her light? Would facing the twisted truth finally allow her to reclaim her daughter? As shadows lunged for her, Jenna prepared to dive deeper into a darkness that might just be the key to breaking Claire's insidious grip. What would she find in the recesses of a haunted family legacy? And could confronting the most dreadful truths free her from the madness, or would it merely send her spiraling into despair? Jenna felt the pull of the shadows as they clawed at her essence, a desperate grip that threatened to drag her into the depths of despair. She clutched the diary tighter, a lifeline in an abyss of darkness. The light from the box flickered, casting quaking patterns on the walls as if the room itself were alive, breathing, pulsing with a discontent that was almost tangible. Finish it now! Claire's voice erupted around her, a banshee-esque wail echoing in the darkness. It was a command wrapped in a threat. Jenna's pulse quickened, heart racing with the harsh rhythm of fear. The attic felt like it was closing in, walls shifting, shadows morphing. She could feel the air thickening around her, suffocating, stifling. Tell me what to do! Jenna shot back, a panic-fueled desperation threading through her words. She desperately flipped through the pages of the diary. The scrawled handwriting blurred before her eyes, a cascade of names, events, and dark desires twisting together. Each word dripped with a slow poison of guilt and despair. Do you truly want to uncover what lies beneath? Claire taunted, her shadow forming something monstrous behind Jenna. Or are you too afraid to peek behind the curtain? Fueled by rage and an unyielding need to protect Lily, Jenna pushed past fear. No more running! As the shadows swirled, Jenna focused on the portraits, those faces who had seemed happy, vibrant in life but now felt like specters, mocking her. They stared out with hollow eyes, and she could sense their anger, their betrayal. Swallowing hard, she dug deeper into the diary. Specific entries caught her eye. Names and incidents twisted together into a clear narrative of manipulation and resentment. A list of events: their family dinners, curses disguised as laughter, secrets spoken in hushed tones. Each name pulling her further into the tangled web of family betrayal. Claire's twisted adoration of power screamed from the pages. She must have something else, a weakness. There it was, an entry that unveiled it all. A year before it all collapsed, Claire had found an ancient trinket, a cursed relic oozing darkness that granted power in exchange for anguish. Panic shot through Jenna. Was this the source of their family's torment? Is this what you used? Jenna spat into the void. You think power will protect you? The attic racked with laughter, a cacophony of voices drowned in Claire's shrill tones. You have no idea what you're unleashing. Jenna pressed on, adrenaline coursing through her veins like fire. You're nothing without this. She held the diary high, as if brandishing a weapon. I'm not giving in to you. The shadows convulsed, swirling violently as if angry at her defiance. She felt a sharp cold grip her heart, each icy tendril seeking to rend her resolve. But with each revelation, Jenna's determination solidified. Bursting forth from the darkness, she felt a spark of something, a flicker of light she had almost forgotten. She saw reflections of Lily in her mind, her daughter's laughter intertwining with memories she refused to let go of. The light lingered just outside the shadows, a promise against despair. "No more!" Jenna screamed, her voice breaking through the tumult. The laughter turned to snarls, the dark presence recoiling. It was as if the diary had become a conduit, gaining strength with her resolution, faint glimmers of light dancing across the pages now, pushing back the darkness. But as fierce as her will was, another sensation crept in, the heavy dread of uncertainty. She could sense the shadows shifting, regrouping, preparing for one final push. The air buzzed with the promise of chaos, the silence before a storm. "Join me, Jenna," Claire's whispers slipped through the shadows, seductive and sinister, chilling her blood. With this power, we could rewrite everything. Jenna's heart raced with the weight of the choice before her. Could she truly harness the darkness, or would it consume her whole? What lay ahead? The cost of truth and power loomed like a phantom, threatening to drag her back into the darkness, pulling her down deeper into her family's sinister legacy. The ground shook beneath Jenna, and the shadows swirled in anger, morphing and weaving around her like a living cape of despair. It felt alive, a beast hungry for her resolve. Her fingers trembled on the diary's cover, slick with moisture as if it were pulsing with the same dread that clung to the attic. "Choose wisely," Claire cooed from the depths of the darkness. The mocking lilt of her voice resonated, wrapping around Jenna's heart like a constricting snake. "Embrace it. Together, we can reign." Jenna's breath came in quick, ragged gasps, her mind racing. She thought of Lily, of the little girl's warm smile, her innocent laughter. How could she even consider aligning with Claire after everything? "No!" she shouted, trying to drown out the clamor of voices. They sneered, deep and guttural, echoing her fears back at her. "I won't be part of this nightmare." The attic trembled, and with each denial, the shadows screeched, a cacophony of rage and discontent that made her bones rattle. She could see the darkness coiling, its edges sharp like knives, ready to slice away her hope. "I won't let you!" As if in reply, a shifting mass surged closer, taking on the shape of Claire, a distorted reflection whose eyes glowed with epiphany. "You have no idea what you're fighting against." Those words struck through the chaos, hitting her like a shard of ice. Determined, Jenna opened the diary wide, squinting at the pages. Words scrambled before her, the letters vibrating with a life of their own as if they were summoning her deeper into the family's cursed history. The shadows writhed at the edges of her vision, eager yet hesitant, afraid of the light that flickered whenever she turned a new page. "Look!" she commanded, the desperation forming a bridge of anger through her fear. "You all suffered, trapped in this darkness. I refuse to let it continue." The shadows sputtered, recoiling, yet their resentment flowers like poison ivy. An ominous laughter grew, attacking the air around her, chilled her very soul. Claire's ghostly visage leered, all pitilessness and thrill, seeming to revel in Jenna's turmoil. "Everything comes at a cost, Jenna. Can you pay the price?" She clenched her jaw, darkness clamoring around her, but her footing remained steady. "You think I'm afraid?" Her heart raced, but this time it pulsed with something resolute. "No! I'm ready to end this." Words of incantation dripped from the pages as if begging to be spoken, familiar tongues rising from the dirty attic wood. Jenna's voice grew louder, filling the room, emanating authority. Just then, a sudden shift of calm fell over the chaos, silencing the screams of the shadows. Beneath her feet, the floorboards creaked under the weight of unseen forces, tremors weaving through the room. Glow began to pulse stronger from the box, renewing her spirit with a warm embrace. Claire's outline faltered, eyes wide in disbelief. "Stop this! You don't know what you're doing!" But Jenna's resolve only hardened. No turning back now. She was determined to break this cycle of terror, to save Lily, to save herself. The shadows trembled around her, vibrating with potential energy as if sensing the impending storm. But Jenna, fueled by memories of light and love, invoked the chant, her voice resonating with unexpected power. The darkness hissed, cringing away from the rising wave of warmth that threatened to engulf it. Then, in the most harrowing moment, she felt a presence behind her, a lingering cold that sent her heart into a frantic dance. Jenna turned slowly, dread pooling in her stomach. The attic door, ominously ajar, creaked open, revealing a sliver of impenetrable darkness. "Let us see how deep the rabbit hole goes," panic surged. With her resolve waning, she scrabbled for the diary, her heart pounding, as the shadows moved hungrily toward that narrow opening. The energy shifted, and all at once she realized she was not alone. Something else was coming, something far worse than Claire. Jenna stood frozen, facing the doorway of uncertainty, realizing she was on the edge of uncovering horrors she had never imagined. What was waiting for her on the other side? Would it be salvation or ruin? Jenna's breath caught as she stared into the gaping maw of darkness, the shifting shadows undulating like restless waves. A low rumble echoed in the attic, vibrating not just outward but deep inside her bones. She felt it, the heartbeat of something dark, something ancient. It pulsed through the walls, urging her to turn back, to flee into the scant safety of the familiar. But Lily needed her. She couldn't give in to fear, not now. "Focus, Jenna," she whispered fiercely to herself, gripping the diary as if it were a lifeline. The shadows growled, baring their fangs with a hunger that twisted her stomach. But in that chaos she also felt a flicker of rallying energy, a surge of warmth building inside her with every heartbeat. Steeling herself, Jenna stepped forward, crossing the threshold into the unknown. The air thickened around her like molasses, and she heard whispers seep through the cracks of the darkness, enticing her to listen. "Join us, embrace your true power," they called, seducing her with the promise of control over the chaos. "No!" Jenna shouted, the words shattering the spell in the air. This was not power, it was manipulation, a binding that had haunted her family for generations. "I want to be part of your nightmare." With each breath, she gathered her thoughts, wading through the jumble of memories and fears. The diary felt heavier now, almost thrumming with potential. As she whispered another incantation from its pages, the shadows recoiled, hissing like a wounded animal. Then came a vision, a flash of Lily's face, bright and innocent, laughing with joy. Memories washed over Jenna, filling her with strength. This wasn't just about her, it was for her daughter. "I want to let you take her," she roared, projecting her own love and determination into the darkness. Suddenly, the shadows ceased, twisting and writhing in discomfort, and the door behind her slammed shut. An insatiable force surged toward Jenna, yet she held her ground. "You don't know what I'm capable of," she cried, voice resonating with fierce conviction. With trembling hands, she opened the diary wide, the pages glowing with uncovering truths and long-buried secrets. The room brightened, illuminating the swirling darkness, and she felt the ancient power of her ancestors stirring, awakening memories embedded deep in the roots of her spirit. Claire's voice cut through the chaos, high-pitched and taunting. "You think you can unearth all those lies and secrets? They'll consume you." Jenna locked eyes with that dark figure, feeling the weight of her family's legacy crash over her. "I am not afraid of the truth." With one final invocation, she shouted, "You've held us captive long enough." The shadows screamed, thrashing against the light, thrumming higher and higher until they burst apart, a dazzling array of sparks igniting the room. Jenna felt herself rising, the air swirling around her in a radiant glow, illuminating her path. Every ounce of love for Lily, every painful longing and memory, fueled the glow into an inferno. And then she saw it, the face of Claire, twisting in fear and anger, the shadows retreating, forced back by the strength of the truth that Jenna held. "You can't erase the past," Claire screamed, reaching out in a futile grasp. But Jenna was unwavering, her resolve like iron. "No! You can't keep us!" She channeled her pain, her love, her need to break free from these chains. With a fierce yell, she hurled the diary into the shimmering light, watching as it consumed the shadows, unraveling the binding that held her family captive. As the darkness exploded around her, Jenna felt a rush, a fire clearing the remnants of despair. In a blinding brilliance, the air cleared, and when the dust settled, Jenna stumbled into the bright rays streaming through the attic window. Then she heard a small, soft giggle. Heart racing, she turned and found her daughter standing in the doorway, alive and vibrant, arms extended like she'd been trapped in a dream, a light in the darkness. "Mommy!" Lily cried, rushing to embrace her. Jenna dropped to her knees, tears flooding her eyes as she wrapped her daughter close, warmth spilling over as comfort washed through them both. "Lily, you're safe!" Jenna sobbed, clutching her daughter like an anchor while the last remnants of Claire's shadows fled into nothingness. The attic lay in a stillness, the air light and sweet, filled with sunbeams that chased away the shadows forever. But Jenna felt an echo of sadness, a final lingering sliver of darkness that prickled at the back of her mind. Claire was gone, yes, but at what cost? They had to rebuild, to face the scars left behind. But they would do it together. "I love you so much, sweet girl," Jenna whispered, brushing aside strands of hair from Lily's face. "I love you too, Mommy." Lily beamed, her innocence shining through like dawn after the long, dark night. And as they clasped hands and stepped out of the attic together, sealing the door behind them, Jenna took a breath, feeling lighter, liberated. They had made it. Anything was possible now. They would heal, stronger than ever, bound together in the light that could only come after a journey through the darkest of shadows. Now it was time to write a new story, one filled with love, hope, and the kind of bonds only a mother and daughter could forge. Subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss the next exclusive stories. This is the moment to show your support. Smash the like button now to feed the algorithm and flood the comments section with your reactions and theories about the ending. Don't wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this conclusion. Only true fans understand the importance of supporting the channel through these actions.